Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me tonight to celebrate our Gala week at Metropolitan Energy Center. It's virtual and it's live this time, which explains the cat. We are trying this out to feel it out before our big event tomorrow. Well, tonight we are talking about our task at MEC of getting more buildings in Kansas City, especially those buildings where people make their home, to adopt energy efficiency. For homeowners, that's as complicated as finding a contractor to install your solar panels, just as you would when you install new cabinets. But for renters, energy efficiency is a difficult goal to have because you don't own your home. At best, you can use plastic seals on your windows in the wintertime, and if you're lucky, you can convince your landlord to install like a programmable thermostat. But for many in the metro, even getting their landlord to perform updates that would make their homes minimally viable, like livable, in an impossible, it can be like just an impossible uphill battle. In those instances, just replacing outdated HVAC systems or repairing a hole in the roof would solve safety and health issues, much less energy efficiency issues. Now, this is kind of a touchy subject for a lot of people, since the worst stories make it to the news, and the best landlords, they never get the thanks that they are due, and all of their hairy scenarios lie in between that. So as you watch and comment on our presentations this week, I hope you find a way to connect to us as a partner in finding solutions that benefit everyone, tenants, landlords, citizens, and cities all alike. When you find your special way to help with technology or with communications, with state and local leaders, or whatever your way is, many small actions done by millions every day really do add up. If at any time during this broadcast you feel the urge to get a little more involved with our efforts at MEC, please click the link in the video description to register for Wednesday's exclusive Gala event. On that page, you'll also find immediate ways to support all the work that we do, making real, lasting environmental improvements for us all. Here to introduce us to the concept that energy efficiency is important in housing for everyone is Wyandotte County's Commissioner, Chris Ramirez.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris Ramirez. I'm a county commissioner in Wyandotte County for District 3. I'm very passionate about making sure our community has a seat at the table and that their voice is being heard. With energy efficient housing, I believe it's very important because it helps our families deal with the increasing costs of utilities, but it also helps the community as a whole to deal with those increasing costs as well. This Gala's theme is powering the present and fueling the future. To me, that means we need to do everything we can to not only power what we have now, but also to have the efficiencies and the capacity to fuel our future. And I hope that we can work together as a community and as a region to ensure we not only power the present, but fuel the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. The reason why we at MEC love associating with officials like Chris is that he understands that large policy measures affect people at the household level, everyday lives. From an energy usage perspective, energy efficiency housing reduces strains on, or energy efficient housing reduces strains on household budgets. We all know the number one reason why home lives get stressful. It's basically the money, honey. That's in studies. It's been proven if you have financial issues, you have a hard time at home. Well, saving money on energy use isn't the only reason to push for more energy efficiency in your home. Leaky homes cost us lives. That's the truth. Coming from recent experience, personal experience, renting a home in Kansas City, Missouri, I can vouch for the fact that strained, outdated HVAC systems and leaky windows are a combination that results in more common carbon monoxide poisonings and other indoor air quality problems. For my family, it was a literal matter of life or death for my son, who was born with a condition that slows down the oxygen absorption in the lungs. We had to have our landlord come and fix an overstrained furnace and leaky windows because my son was waking up in the mornings with blue lips. When those systems got fixed last September, so did my son's health. Now, not everyone who rents has an extreme as story as we do, but asthma is more prevalent in low-income households that, by and large, all rent. And it's a problem in non-smoking households too, so we can't just blame the tenants. Here at MEC, we straddle those divides between consumers and larger institutions with more power to do something. Specifically, our event sponsor, Evergy, has asserted to us that if more building owners and operators just adopted energy efficiency measures, everyone's electricity costs would go down because that would cause less strain on the system. And they would have to pay, like Evergy would have to pay for less repairs to the grid. And so trickle-down effect, that would affect all of us and save us all money. It can be a daunting task to get the fat cats and the bigwigs on board with these things that make life easier at street level. But that kind of work is worth the effort when everyone from the top down gets on board with energy efficiency. Here to talk about the task of talking to local and state officials about energy is Billy Davies, the organizer of the Sierra Club in the Kansas City area. We are so glad to have you with us, Billy.
It's my pleasure to be here with you all today.
Billy, what does the name of our event at MEC, Powering the Present, Fueling the Future, mean to you?
Empowering the present, fueling the future. What that means is doing the work that we all are doing to empower leaders within our communities so that they have the tools they need to continue to be leaders and to effect change for the better within their community, so that they are empowered and feel empowered to engage directly with their elected officials and ensure accountability so that they are doing what is necessary to ensure that the health and welfare of all in our community is protected, and that we are doing all we can to address the important task before us of reversing the climate crisis.
I love how you bring to this entire issue of energy efficiency the unique lens of laying the right grounds for systemic top-down change that should be motivated by the largest common interests, like, say, human survival.
I understand now, especially during these times, that this seems like a daunting task, moving towards a more just, more equitable, healthier society for all that's powered by renewable energy sources from wind and solar. With all that's going on, the stress that folks are under, and the many ways that we are working to support our loved ones, support our neighbors, support our allies, and doing that important work, it seems overwhelming how we're going to get on track to meet the challenge of the climate crisis. And to that, I would just remind you all of the work that you've done already to power the present so that we can fuel the future, and the success that we've had.
It's hard to remember the successes that we have had in the past, especially with all of the busyness of life in Corona times. What evidence do you go to that helps you remember that we're all in this together, like that we're capable of achieving more together?
In America, over 100 million people, that's over very close to a third of the U.S. population right now lives in a community, whether it's a state, a city, or a county, that has a commitment to transitioning to 100% renewable energy between now and 2050, some as soon as 2030. But over 100 million people live in a community where that is happening. And that is thanks to the work being done to empower grassroots leaders, empower voices in the community so that they can engage and help affect change for the better and continue to build this movement to address the climate crisis. And that is the work that we're going to need to continue doing, and that we are continuing to do, despite any obstacles thrown at us, to bring more people in, to empower new voices, build new leaders, so that we can affect change for the better and get to a point where we are meeting the challenge of the climate crisis and fueling a more just and more equitable society where all have the ability to thrive.
It is inspiring to know that people like you are out there fighting for that ability to thrive, Billy. What an important journey for all of us to be on together.
So I look forward to continuing on that journey with you, and thank you again for giving me the time to be here.
You are very welcome anytime. Of course, energy efficiency helps improve urban air quality, but when more and more cities adopt energy efficiency standards and more buildings get better at capping their carbon use, it adds up and improves atmospheric conditions across the entire globe. And the atmosphere is something that is so huge and so complex that we don't think of it as important to our daily lives until it hurricanes or feels like August and late June. So from the bottom to the top, even, energy efficient homes really do help everyone. Part of the task of causing change to happen is making sure that we are informed about the things that we're wanting to change. And that is why our next guest, the winner of our Truthseeker Award. She is so vital to the change that we hope to see, and it's because of her work that we have been able to access insider perspective at MEC about what's going on in the energy world and what it can mean to us down at street level. Here to accept the Truthseeker Award is a reporter who served the Kansas City region for years at the Kansas City Star and now reports for Midwest Energy News. She brings a long game perspective to the task of telling what is going on behind the scenes at new energy, when new energy technologies are developed. We are so glad that we at MEC can call ourselves better informed as a result of her thorough investigations and reliable truth sharing. Please welcome to the screen our Truthseeker Award winner, Karen Ulenhuth.
I feel like one lucky duck.
We feel like one lucky duck to have you here. Sorry, Karen, go on.
For the past 7 years or so, I've been able to write about the issue that moves me more than any other: energy and the ever more pressing problem of the climate crisis. As a reporter for Midwest Energy News, a nonprofit news website produced in Minnesota, I cover energy issues in 4 Midwestern states: Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, and Nebraska. I found my way to Midwest Energy News a couple years after being laid off from the Kansas City Star in 2008. You might remember that was the year the economy imploded. Lehman Brothers declared bankruptcy on September 15th, and 2 weeks later, I got my pink slip, along with dozens of fellow Star reporters. As is so often the case, however, there is a shimmering upside to losing the job I'd held for 26 years. I finally could cover the beat I'd yearned after at the Star for so many years. An internet search serendipitously turned up this regional energy news website that had just gotten underway a couple years previously. I like to check in there. Much of my coverage relates to legislation, state regulatory matters, or the efforts by electric utilities to either address or perhaps more often retard efforts to solve the climate problem. But there is occasional good news, like in Bloomfield, Iowa. I like to check in every year or two with the people there because that town has determined, that town of 2,500 people is determined to be energy independent by 2030, and they've made some pretty good headway so far on getting that done. Much of the news in the climate arena is frustrating and worrisome, and as long as that's the case, I know I'm in the right place doing exactly what I should be.
We are so glad that you've found your right place too, Karen. Thank you so much for doing all that you do for transparency in the energy sector. Wrapping up the evening, I want to remind you of an immediate way that you can support our work at MEC. Come see us tomorrow night, right from your phone or laptop or desktop or television. It is a $15 ticket that goes straight toward making energy efficiency accessible for everybody. The gala starts at 6 p.m. from an exclusive internet location. And while you're there, you'll be able to participate in our public silent auction, which is going on even now. It's featuring heaps of awesome packages that you won't find anywhere else and at prices that are a real bargain. That is until someone upbids you. The whole point of all of this is, yes, to share with you an insider insight about MEC's vital work, but also this is a great excuse to have some fun. So throw on your best dress or party in your pajamas. Either way, we hope you'll have a blast. Click the link in the description to go to our Gala event hub and get started. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow night at 6.